Natalie Gauci, welcome to Australian Musician.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited.
You've got a new album coming out, Brand New Day, and a book of the same name on July 5. Before we get into that, tell me about the records and the artists growing up that inspired you and made you want to become a performer.
I think, gosh, I've listened to so many different styles, but really when I was young, my grandparents raised me, and I've got Italian and Maltese, and mum's side was Italian, and we spent a lot of time with the Italian side. And my nonna, she raised me from when I was like 0 to 3 because mum was working, dad was working, and she put on music, a lot of Italian music. A lot of, and it's got a lot of soul, like, like a solo mio and, all the Italian songs. And then after that, I was influenced probably by Elvis Presley, Whitney Houston, Gloria Estefan, because they're the records that mum and dad had with the vinyl player at home. So I used to put that on with the headphones. And then I got obsessed with jazz in my teenage years because I got a scholarship to do music at the VCA and at the secondary school there. And I was heavily influenced by jazz because I kind of got one of the best jazz singers in Australia as my teacher, which is you might know Michelle Nicole.
Okay.
And she introduced me to Sarah Vaughan, Ella Fitzgerald. And then I got introduced to Nina Simone. And I think Nina Simone was like the one that really hit me when it came to writing songs, because I wasn't really writing music at all. I was just wanting to be like Mariah Carey. And then, I took in Hero by Mariah Carey to Michelle Nicole, who loves jazz music. And she's just like, no, we're not doing Mariah Carey. She's like, here you go. And she gave me a tape of Sarah Vaughan. And I'll never forget it. It just changed my world. And so I became obsessed with it. And I listened to Strange Fruit by Nina Simone, and that something stirred inside of me that day. And I just got up and started writing a song. And then that was pretty much the rest of my career, was just basically jazz. But then I just started delving in different styles just to learn things from there.
Yeah, it's a beautiful piano behind you. I gather you play piano and
I do. I do. This is one of my new gifts to myself. Yeah, one of my dreams actually. So yeah.
yeah. What is it? Where did you pick that up from?
This is a Broadman piano. I got it from a Yamaha store. I originally went to buy a Yamaha because I grew up playing classical on Yamaha, and I just always wanted a baby grand piano. And yeah, so I went into Brisbane and had my heart set on a Yamaha, but then I just saw this. I sat and played it, and I just thought, this is it. This is the one. And it's just the most beautiful thing I've ever played. It's just nice and soft. It's nice for the house. It's nice for singing. It's not, I can sing without, belching it out and trying to be louder than the piano. It's just, it really balances with my music and my style. So yeah, I've never heard of them before, but now I just love them.
So the songs on this new album, were they written while you were tinkering on the piano or the guitar?
They started off on the piano. Optical Illusion is the first track on the record, and that was written. So these songs were written over a period of my life. So they're chapters of my life starting from 2011 to now. So when I wrote Optical Illusion, I was still in Melbourne, and I had my black Yamaha upright piano, and I wrote it on that. And that was the beginning of, I guess, the journey of my life. Yeah. And then I started playing guitar when I moved to London, because I just felt like taking a keyboard on the tube in the underground train, it's just too hard. So I just forced myself to learn guitar because it's just easier to carry around and play at gigs. So I ended up learning really quickly, and I ended up meeting Gibson guitars while I was over there. And I did a big talk for Gibson guitars, and then they sponsored me. So I got to record some of these demos at Gibson Studios in London with a Gibson guitar. And then I think 4 or 5 songs off the album were demoed over there. Yeah.
The album is a mix of ballads and upbeat tempo songs. Was it important to present different shades of your music, your songwriting?
Yeah, I think so. I didn't really think about it like that when I put it together, because the way it worked was that I have on Spotify now. So this is my fifth album, and I put out 4 albums on Spotify last in 2020 during COVID, because I thought, if something happens to me, at least I've got those albums out online and people can listen to them, because they were just on my computer. And they were like songs that I thought were pretty good for an album. But then when I went back and had a look at the songs that I hadn't actually recorded, I think I left the best of my songs till last, because I really wanted to have the funding to be able to go into a studio and record with a producer, because I produced those other albums myself. And yes, I'm really proud of them and I loved it. But I just wanted to have an opportunity to work with somebody where I wasn't touching the knobs on the mixer, and I wasn't involved in it. It was just like, let's just get a band and play these songs that are meaningful to me and see what happens. And that, I knew were really heartfelt, good songs, but I just didn't know how to execute them. And it was the first time I really couldn't hear what they were going to be like. So it was awesome to just hand it over
Yeah.
and just say, do what you want with these songs.
Yeah.
And they basically just let me be a musician. And so I just got on the piano, played the songs and sang, got on the guitar, played a bit. And then, thank God I had Ash Naylor, because he just, he brought such life to these songs and like a country kind of feel to them, which I didn't really think that I had in me. So it was just, I never thought about the style of them, whether they were going to be up tempo, slow. It was just, this is the song, this is what I wrote. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. You're very lucky to get Ash now. He's so busy.
I know that was just, it was meant to be. It really was.
Yeah. And Andrew Beck was a producer. What's his production style?
I would say he's got a little bit of a country-esque blues soul kind of feel, but he can also do other things like electronics, and he's very versatile. And that was perfect for me because I'm pretty versatile as well. So we were able to just collaborate and create something that was just sounded all like one piece of body of work. And he's just, I think, one of the best producers, if not the best producer we have in Australia. So I was very blessed to have him.
One of the things I noticed was that a few of the songs click over 7 minutes and one, I think, over 8, which is unusual. Was that something you were conscious of when writing, or was it more something that developed in the studio?
One of them was one that developed in the studio, and the other one, yeah, I was conscious that it was a longer song. And we were like, do we keep it long? What do we do? And I think Steve Kilby was there at the time too. And he was like, no, 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 just leave it the way it is. And I thought, yeah, I don't want to change it. Like, this is me. This is my soul. I don't want to cut it short. Just, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I got your album tracks in order, but the order I got them, Brand New Day was the final track.
Yes, that's right. It is the final track.
Why did you place that at the end, the title track?
I did that because that was the very last song that I wrote for the album. So I put them in order of um, that I wrote the songs in. So Brand New Day was the last one I wrote for that album, and I decided to call it Brand New Day, put that song on there because I think that was the final thing for me to realize that it's a brand new time for me in my life, and this is my time. It's my time.
Yeah.
So I thought this is perfect. And there were underlying things as well, because whenever I played that song to people, even like my students, you know, they would just contact me and say, oh, I've had this massive breakthrough in my life. And I'm like, wow, like how can a song do that for someone, you know? And I think, well, if I've had the breakthrough with the song, then other people can as well. And so it was just a no-brainer for me. I thought, that's it. It's going to be the final piece, and that's going to be the name of the album.
Yeah. You're also bringing out a book with stories behind the songs. Why did you feel the need to do that?
Because I have such a deep story, and I feel like I would like to share some of it with my audience, a little bit of depth. Yeah, because I'm not just a singer-songwriter. I have experiences in my life that I do share with people when I'm doing coaching or talking to people. And I do feel that it inspires them. And so I thought it might be nice to give a little insight into a bit of background to the songs.
Yeah. I believe you're choosing not to release the album to streaming services initially. Is that right?
Yes.
Why did you take that road?
Well, there were a couple of reasons. The first one was because I noticed that on Spotify, especially, as soon as you put an album out, it's like, that's it, it's out there. And then what do? Like you spend so much time recording, writing the songs, you know, you invest money into putting them out there. And then all of a sudden they're just like, it just felt like I was throwing it in the bin. I don't know if you know what I mean, but it was just like, what a waste. You know, I'm just putting it out there and then it's just like going into the cloud, you know? And I wanted it to be tangible. Like this is like 16 years of moments of my life that mean so much. And so I thought, I want something tangible that is going to prolong the record so I can tour it. I can sell CDs, sell vinyl, give something tangible to my audience, and just start building a fan base in that way, like just go completely old school. And I think I'm going to enjoy it a lot more than just like going, here, just have it, you know?
Yeah.
And I will eventually put it up, but I would like to wait and see what happens first, do more live shows and just engage with people. Because I felt like when I was on Australian Idol, I lost that engagement with people. It was very like detached, and then I became detached.
Right.
So this music brought me back to who I am as a person and as an artist. And I went through these experiences. So I don't want to just like put it out there all at once. I just want to do the opposite to what Australian Idol done and just, you know, take my time, enjoy the ride, and yeah, see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, you won Australian Idol in 2007. Is it something you'd recommend to other young performers?
No. And I don't say that because it didn't do good for me, because it did do really, really good things for me. But that was 16 years ago. Times have changed. TV is not as relevant as it was back then. And I think that it's just, if you want integrity and you want to be an artist and you really want to feel rewarded as an artist, as a writer, it's so important to keep your soul and the fragments of your soul intact. And going on those shows is about fame. It's about being an idol. It's about all the things that singer-songwriters don't want to be. So I think I don't regret it because I got to experience that fame and I got to understand what it's like to be famous. But I'm not here to be famous. Like it's not what I went there for. And I wanted to be famous as a kid, but then when I got it, I didn't realize that it was going to be like it was. And so I would never recommend that to anyone. Like I see people online all the time now wanting to be famous, and I'm just like, it's just not fun. It's not, if you've got nothing to say and you don't have a purpose, what are you doing? You're just famous, you know? So my thing was just, yeah, I just thought I don't want to do this if I don't have anything to say.
Yeah. As you said, you'll be playing the album live. I think you've got a launch gig on the day the album comes out, July 5 at Bird's Basement.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Yeah. So tell me about the band and what's in store for the show.
Yeah, well, we've got a five-piece band, and I'm going to be singing, well, because I love jazz and it is a jazz club. The first set will be a few of my favorite jazz divas like Nina Simone. I'll do a bit of Ella Fitzgerald, and I have written a few jazz songs myself, so I'm going to be performing them. And then I'll be doing the whole album for the next set with the band, and I'll be playing piano and guitar. Jeremy Diffie is my musical director, and he's been my director since 2010. And I met him when I was doing support for an international artist called Patrizio Buone. And Jeremy was doing the ending for the, because he had a massive band. It was all brass big band. So when I met Jeremy and I told him I wanted to do this jazz album, he just said, "Oh, I'd love to be involved." And he ended up MDing for that, my album, Ha Ha Ha. And then that was it. We just started gigging, and we're good friends, and he's very talented. They're all in Melbourne. And the other guys I've worked with in a lot of the corporate music scene, but now they're all out doing festivals, playing with other Aussie idols. Dale Winters he's Pete Murray's guitarist. So yeah, I'm very blessed to have them, and they're world-class musicians.
Yeah. And are there any particular songs off the album that are really scrubbing up well in rehearsal?
We haven't rehearsed yet. We'll be rehearsing next week.
Well, let me rephrase that. Are there any songs in particular that you're looking forward to playing live?
Yes, I'm actually looking forward to playing most of the songs off my new album. I I haven't done a lot of the jazz stuff for ages, so I'm really looking forward to that as well. I do a bit of jazz improv, and so I've got it's like I've got to split myself in two and do like half, because my album is like one thing, and then my jazz and my other stuff is one thing. So I guess with the album, to answer the question, um, I think it's so hard to choose which songs, but I'm looking forward to doing Optical Illusion because I get to rock out a bit in that one. Um, and Walk Ahead, I really like that song as well. Um, I think When I Want Your Love is probably my all-time favorite that I've written. So maybe that one. Yeah.
Um, you've played overseas in the past when you were very young. Do you hope to get overseas again and maybe play this music?
Well, it's really funny that you say that, because I've just been asked to sing in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur. I'm going to be a judge and a performer for the singing competition. They have an international singing competition there, and Broadman actually are running it.
Okay.
And so we've connected and we're collaborating, and yeah, I'll be going there. I've also got quite a big fan base in Indonesia and Pakistan and India. So I've been asked to go to Pakistan to do a show, but we'll see what happens. We'll see how we go. I'd love to go to America, Nashville, definitely. Yeah.
So what's the grand plan for Natalie Gauci?
I think, I mean, I'm a mum first and foremost. I'm a single parent, so I'm a full-time single parent. So it's just me and my son, and that takes priority. And ever since I've made that decision, I feel like music has just become part of both of our life. So for me, I'm spiritual, I'm very faithful, and I believe that God has given me this gift and a purpose. So I've just kind of handed it over and said to God, like, whatever you want me to do, I'll do it, as long as I can be a mum and the best mum I can be. If it's going to help that, then, I'll do it. And that's made me just enjoy music again. And so wherever it takes me, it takes me. I've got another thing coming up um, called Hooked on Swing. So I'm going to be singing as a lead guest, a special guest in that. And that starts touring in October. So yeah, I think a lot of things are coming up for me with singing. So and music. Yeah.
Well, Natalie, it's been great to chat. Brand New Day is out July 5, and the book that goes along with it. Are they sold separately, or is there a
The book.
Yeah.
Well, I've been a bit sneaky and I've put the book in the vinyl.
Okay.
So if you get the vinyl, you get the book because it's all on the back. We've managed to fit it all on there somehow. And if you really want the book, you can download it from my website.
Yeah.
And it's just $10 and you just get a PDF and it's just like got nice pictures in it and everything. And yeah, my website is natalierosegauci.com
Okay.
and
And
everything's on there.
yeah, and tickets for the launch gig, I imagine available through Bird's Basement.
Yes, and on my website as well. Yeah.
Well, all the best with everything, and it's been great to catch up.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you.